Well, good afternoon and welcome to a very, very special installment of Cappuccino with Carmel. My name is Carmel DArienzo, and I have the honor and the privilege of finally having this woman as a guest on my show. This is my mommy, Arlene Poling DArienzo, and we are actually on the eve of the celebration, actually a few hours away from a very, very exciting event. She will be showcasing and showing her incredible work. And I wanted to share her story with all of you so that, you know, as we always do at Cappuccino with Carmel, we highlight individuals who live with passion, on purpose, and in contribution. And so it is my pleasure to introduce to you my mom, Arlene Poling DArienzo.
Hello, everybody. This is all very new to me. So I'm sitting here and I will answer Carmel's questions and do the best I can to express what I'm feeling today.
You are, and we actually are in the basement of her home, and actually in the back you can see the studio and the easels and all the paintbrushes, and this is where the magic happens. So can you just share with everyone, you know, when did you first know that you had artistic talent or felt that impulse in you to create and express?
I think I was drawing at a very young age. My mother told me that, but the day or the month that it started, I was in grade school in 5th grade, and the kindergarten teacher was an artist and she was giving art lessons. So officially that's where I began. And from that point, I drew and painted and did whatever I could creatively. Did a double major in high school, applied to a very prestigious art school where if you're accepted, you're on a merit scholarship. And I couldn't believe...
And what school is that?
The Cooper Union. I couldn't
New
believe
York
that
City?
they took me, but they did, and I just loved it. And I have been drawing and painting since then.
And didn't you, if I recall this, what you told us when we were children, that you sort of started out as a fashion designer?
No.
No?
That was my aspiration, to be that. And this may sound silly to you, but to my mother it seemed logical. She said, I want you to change your major. I want you to do art academic instead of fashion academic. Because suppose you end up like a seamstress like me instead of the fashion designer. And it sounded like, at that time, good advice, except that I have a very strong fashion sense, and who knows if I had done anything in the fashion world. But I worked in advertising. I worked in Family Circle magazine, doing paste-ups and page layouts and illustrations.
And this was in the 50s.
And this was in the
late
50s. And then became a mother of 3 children in 3 years in the 60s. And then just sort of put my artwork aside, but always donating artwork to fundraisers for cancer research, working with children in art, and I created...
Didn't you create that program when Nana was in the...
Yes. My mother was a resident in a nursing home, and they were so wonderful to her that a few months later I went back and asked them if I could give back, if I could do anything, because they were so kind to my mother. The least response is with Alzheimer's women, and it's very hard for them to get volunteers. So I said, just teach me. And they taught me how to feed an Alzheimer's patient. They taught me how to interact with them. And then I said, you know, I'm a creative person. I'm an artist. What can I do? Can I do art with them? And they had not ever done that. So I created this program with God's help. And it became Art for Alzheimer's Women.
That's amazing.
It won a grant based on that work. It's probably one of the most beautiful memories I have of giving back through art.
which is such a powerful, powerful tool. There's so many. That's where I get it from, I guess. I'm not wanting to give back. So, so then, fast forward, here we are now. I
Here
mean,
we
yeah,
are
remember
now.
you did have one show in Soho when we were in high school.
Yes.
That was a very, very big event. And now, 40 years after that, here we are. And what does it feel like to have a show now?
I don't think there's an artist who doesn't feel shaky about the work. And they live on compliments, and some of them need the money desperately, so anything they sell. But for me, it is getting it out, having people see it. They all say the same thing, that it's very poetic and very spiritual. There's a light in the work. I think that's what I hang on, because that's what I see in the work. So if I'm communicating that, it gives me pleasure.
And what do you think got you to the point? Because we know so many artists out there who, there's the term tortured artists and this and that. I mean, not just artists, but so many entrepreneurs, people, they never think they're good enough. They never think what they're producing is good enough. And what got you to the point that you finally say, this is really great work? What got you to that?
I think that if an artist is honest, he looks at his work and he says, oh my God, why did I do this? And he doesn't really see his worth. Some are braggadocio and think that they're really the greatest thing that ever was invented. But most artists that are honest and sincere always question their own work. I think it's probably the class that I started at the Art Students League, just to have something to do when I had moved to Manhattan. And the feedback from those people, you're talented, why isn't your work out there? The teacher said you have to get eyeballs on your art. I think that was the point where I started to look at my work in a different way.
Okay, so we are back. We had some technical difficulty. I can't believe I didn't have enough storage for my own mother. Anyway, we were talking about what shifted in getting that confidence in the, in sharing the work. And it was, you were saying your course at Art Students League. And for people out there who don't know, this is what we talk about, people living with passion. You get up at 6 a.m. every morning.
Yes.
You get on the subway, you're down there, you stand and you work for 4 hours, 5 hours?
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours. And then
one bathroom stop.
Yeah, then take the subway back. I mean, and why do you do that?
Because I have to paint and draw. It's a necessary part of me. And if I don't work one day, I feel it. It's my passion. It's what I love to do. It's uniquely my own, my style. I share with other artists the same kind of lack of self-confidence. And I just said recently, when people say, where have you been? I said, in my basement with my lack of self-confidence around my neck.
Right.
And
we were talking about what happens to both of us when you release that feeling of low self-esteem.
yeah,
Magic happens.
It's like a virus in our house.
But we got rid of it. We have the antivirus
But I
method.
think this is the beginning of letting go of all of that self-doubt. And I think I think sometimes you have to believe in your intuition. What comes to your mind and your heart first is what you should be doing, what you should be thinking. You can apply that to a painting as well as a life. And if you overthink something, then you've lost it.
Okay, we're back. The third time's a charm. So we're just going to finish up our conversation. Just what advice do you have for maybe young people starting out who have that creative talent and want to work it in their life? Or maybe there are other mothers like yourself out there who have responsibilities and yet also want to, like, I know you can go down and be lost to the world for 5 hours and be in that zone. How do you suggest they navigate that?
I think that if you have no time, or if you think you have no time for any artistic endeavor, you have a sketch pad that you can purchase, you can buy a graphite pencil, you can get ink in a pen on white paper. In other words, you can produce a drawing, You can walk outside, inside. You can draw your shoes. You are always creating something, especially if you're a mother and you're working hard and raising a family. That's probably the most that you can do. Young people can also draw. I think that they should look at art, go to as many museums as they can go to. There are programs within museums that reach out to young people. They have to become aware of what is available to them instead of saying, I don't have time, I won't be able to do it, all is lost. It's not lost. None of it is lost if you keep pursuing it. As simply as a drawing pad and a pencil.
That's fantastic. And you can bring that with you anywhere.
Yes.
So,
especially on subways,
right,
by
especially
the
if
way.
you're in New York. And so I usually ask all my guests this, what legacy do you want to leave? You know, what do you want to be remembered for or by, or just what?
I think I want to be remembered. And now I'm going to get teary because I have not been asked this question. And since I'm 80 years old, everybody seems to want to ask me this question. I want to be remembered as somebody who was honest and upfront and meant what she said, who never followed the crowd in clothing or anything else, was her own person, her own woman, worked very, very hard, loved the children and loved raising them and being with them. They were my chickadees. And being a person of spirituality and a person who loved to cook, a person who loved the holidays. If they're celebrating Christmas and I'm not here, I know they will remember all of our Christmases.
What about your art?
Yes, but first my soul and my person to be remembered for that. And then my art, which I think is beginning to have the spiritual light in it. So maybe I'll be remembered for that as well.
But as I said, everything, we got a lot still left to do.
Hopefully,
so,
yes.
And
Hopefully,
tonight
yes.
is a big celebration. So thank you all for being with us. And as we always say, and I know my mother can say it, ciao for now.
Ciao for now.
Bye.
Bye.